Welcome to the Quantum AI Coach podcast. I'm Gina, founder of Virtual World Coaching Academy.
What if the reason you can't break your income ceiling has absolutely nothing to do with your business strategy?
That is, well, it's a huge claim to make right out of the gate.
It really is. But welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are exploring this really fascinating concept that takes, all that traditional blueprint style business advice you've always been given.
Oh, the standard hustle harder stuff.
Exactly. And it flips it completely on its head. So our mission today is to uncover the mechanics of this invisible endpoint feeling.
Right.
We're looking at why those standard strategies you're constantly told to implement, like building a better marketing funnel, refining your offer, grinding out more hours.
Optimizing the website for the 10th time.
Yeah, why all of that might actually be the exact wrong thing to focus on if you're feeling chronically stuck.
Which is a deeply counterintuitive claim. I mean, considering strategy is pretty much the default setting for almost every professional on earth.
Oh, absolutely.
When the revenue numbers stall or a project just doesn't take off, our immediate assumption is that the external mechanism is flawed. We look for the broken link in the chain.
We do. We love visible, categorizable problems.
Because they're fixable.
Right. They're fixable with a new software tool or a better sales script. So if you are listening to this right now, maybe you're a creative or an entrepreneur or a leader who just feels completely stuck despite doing everything right on paper.
Then this deep dive is custom tailored for you.
It really is. Because the core thesis of our source material today is incredibly provocative. It argues that the bottleneck to your success isn't your business strategy.
It's not the funnel.
Nope. The bottleneck is your own nervous system.
And that completely shifts the paradigm, right?
Okay.
From external action to internal neurobiology.
Yeah, it's a huge shift.
Because if the body is fighting off wealth or success like a virus, well, that explains why so many people get stuck at a specific income bracket regardless of how hard they work.
Literally fighting it off.
Exactly. But to understand why the physical body would even care about a business metric, we have to deeply examine the difference between the act of chasing growth and the actual physical capability of holding on to it once you catch it.
Okay, let's unpack this, because that distinction is the foundation of this entire concept. The source asserts that if you want to break through your ceiling, your identity has to fundamentally shift.
It can't just be a mindset tweak.
Right, you have to stop being someone who simply chases growth and actually become someone who constructs the internal architecture to contain it.
Contain it, yes.
Your nervous system has to literally possess the capacity to hold the expansion you are asking for. It makes me think of this analogy. Trying to relentlessly scale a business or chase a massive promotion without first expanding your nervous system is exactly like trying to pour a gallon of water into a pint glass.
Oh, the visual of the glass is perfect for understanding capacity.
Right.
Because we spend all our energy obsessing over the water. We buy courses, we hire consultants, we say, I need more water, I need a faster hose.
I need a better strategy to get the water flowing.
Exactly. But the water, the business strategy, the revenue, that isn't the actual problem. The glass is just too small.
It's just a pint glass.
Right. And no matter how hard you pour, everything over that one pint is just going to spill all over the floor.
And that spillover, in real life, what does that look like?
Well, your nervous system's capacity is that glass. So when it spills over, that looks like burnout or self-sabotage or, suddenly getting sick right after a big launch.
Oh, wow, yeah. Getting the post-launch flu.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, to understand the mechanism behind that spillover, we have to look at how the nervous system actually operates.
Because it's not a business coach.
No, not at all. We are talking about a profoundly ancient, highly evolved threat detection machine. Its primary directive, its only real job, is to keep you alive.
Just baseline survival.
Right. And it accomplishes that by maintaining homeostasis. It wants to keep your internal and external environment familiar, predictable, and above all, safe.
So, wait. It's not that the body inherently hates money or success.
No.
It's that it hates the unfamiliarity of it.
Okay.
Even if your current quote-unquote familiar means being broke or incredibly stressed out.
Precisely. The nervous system does not possess a moral compass.
Right.
And it certainly doesn't understand capitalism. It doesn't judge whether your current situation is objectively good or bad. It only categorizes experiences as known or unknown.
That is so wild to think about.
So when you introduce sudden expansion, even wildly positive expansion, like a surge in high-paying clients, a massive leap in income, or a huge jump in public visibility, your biology doesn't necessarily read that as a victory.
It reads it as a sudden, massive deviation from the baseline.
Yes, it interprets the success as an active threat.
Wow.
It views this sudden influx of water as a potential danger because managing it demands a whole new set of behaviors, responsibilities, and, frankly, energetic outputs that your internal architecture just hasn't been built to sustain yet.
So the body panics.
Right. When your baseline shifts that rapidly, your brain triggers a stress response. Cortisol spikes, the sympathetic nervous system kicks into fight or flight mode, and your body sounds the alarm.
Which is why changing the strategy doesn't work.
Because external action, your business strategy, is easy to change. You just launch a new ad. But internal architecture, your physical capacity to hold stress, attention, and resources without triggering that fight or flight response, that takes deliberate construction.
Okay, if the nervous system is actively fighting off positive growth just to maintain baseline survival, that explains so much of human behavior.
It explains almost all of our self-sabotage.
So let's look at how this manifests in the real world, because the source highlights a really fascinating case study that illustrates this dynamic perfectly.
Yeah, the script details the story of a highly creative, insightful woman, and it's important to note she was not a novice.
Right.
She was deeply intuitive and already doing the necessary inner work.
She even understood quantum principles, right? Meaning she was well aware of the concept that her internal state and her mindset directly influenced her external reality.
Exactly. She wasn't just blindly grinding away. She was actively trying to align her mindset with her business goals.
And yet, despite all that conscious awareness and strategy, her income mysteriously settled at the exact same number year after year.
Around 2,000 pounds a month, I think.
Yeah, $2,000 a month. And it wasn't a total failure, right? The business was functioning and keeping her afloat. But it was this incredibly stubborn plateau.
A very specific ceiling.
A number that simply refused to move, no matter what external levers she pulled or how many hours she worked. But wait a second. If she's deeply intuitive and she actively understands the mind-body connection, shouldn't she be immune to this trap?
You would think so, logically.
Right. Why did her default reaction, which was apparently just to try harder, completely fail her? If you possess the self-awareness to know your glass is too small, why can't you just mentally force the water to fit?
Well, that is the core conflict for so many high achievers, because intellectual knowing happens in the prefrontal cortex. That's the logical, forward-thinking part of the brain.
The planning part.
Right. But survival responses, those are governed by the amygdala, the primal alarm system. Knowing about a concept intellectually is entirely different from neutralizing a physiological response in the body.
Yeah.
The source offers a really profound insight here. Her plateau wasn't about a lack of business acumen, and it certainly wasn't a lack of effort. It was the result of deeply embedded safety imprints.
Safety imprints. Okay, let's explore those. What did that actually look like for her in practice?
Well, when she finally stopped obsessing over the external marketing metrics and asked a much more difficult internal question like, what does earning more actually do inside me? The hidden pattern revealed itself.
Her body was terrified of it.
Exactly. Her nervous system had subconsciously linked wealth and scale to deeply negative, threatening outcomes.
I remember the source mentioned she had associations with hierarchy, instability, or the complete loss of her identity.
Yeah. Somewhere along the line, whether through past experiences or societal conditioning, her primal operating system learned that having more money meant stepping into a rigid corporate hierarchy that she just despised.
Or it learned that wealth would create chaos and instability in her personal life.
Right. Or perhaps most threatening of all, that she would fundamentally lose her authentic creative soul if she became quote-unquote wealthy.
Wow. I mean, if your deepest, most primal operating system genuinely believes that scaling your business to, say, 10,000 pounds a month means you'll become a bad person or alienate your friends or lose your creative spark, of course it's going to hit the brakes.
It has to. It's protecting you.
Calling it intelligent sabotage completely flips the script on how we view our own failures.
Yeah.
I feel like it removes all the shame from the equation.
It really does reframes the entire concept of procrastination and self-sabotage. Because think about it, when you forget to follow up with a high-paying client, or you suddenly develop massive brain fog right when you need to write a sales pitch.
You aren't being lazy.
No. Your body is deploying intelligent sabotage. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's pulling you back from the edge of what it perceives as a dangerous cliff.
So what does this all mean for the listener who is, nodding along right now? Because the source brings up a specific phrase I really want you to dissect for us.
Sure, which one?
It says, "You aren't broken. You are simply patterned. And patterns can be updated."
That's a great line.
How do we actually update this pattern without just falling back into the trap of trying harder? Because the script does provide a framework for this, centered on the mantra, capacity over strategy.
Right. So what's fascinating here is that updating the pattern requires us to redefine what empowerment actually looks like in practice, because the source is very clear about what empowerment is not.
Right.
It is not about forcing yourself through fear.
Which, that flies in the face of classic hustle culture advice, doesn't it? We are constantly told to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Grind through it.
Yeah, just grind through the panic, push past the imposter syndrome, and secure the bag.
But look at the pint glass analogy. If you attempt to force a gallon of water into a pint glass by just hyper-pressurizing it, what happens?
The glass shatters.
Exactly. Pushing through severe nervous system resistance just floods your body with stress hormones. It actively reinforces the trauma link between your work and your survival.
That is why so many entrepreneurs have a panic attack or fall into a deep depression right after their biggest, most successful month in business.
It's the post-launch crash. But listen, empowerment is also not waiting for the fear to completely disappear before you take action, because that day will simply never arrive.
Right, so if it's not aggressively forcing it and it's not passively waiting for the fear to vanish, it has to be a middle path.
It is.
The text calls this staying sovereign while you move.
Yes. Sovereignty in this context means acting as the compassionate observer of your own biology. You feel the physical discomfort, you feel the nervous system sounding the alarm bells, but you don't panic. Right, instead of letting the alarm dictate your actions, either by quitting or by frantically overworking to outrun the fear, you observe the alarm without being controlled by it.
It's kind of like a thermostat.
Okay, tell me more.
If your financial thermostat is internally set to 70 degrees and you suddenly land a huge contract that heats the room to 90, your nervous system acts like the air conditioning. Right? It kicks into overdrive to cool things back down to your familiar baseline.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it, yeah.
So capacity over strategy means we need to actually rewire the thermostat itself, not just try to pump more and more heat into the room.
Exactly. By prioritizing capacity over strategy, you are deliberately building the container for wealth before you go after the external numbers. You are acknowledging the old safety imprint, the one that says, wealth equals loss of identity, and you are gently proving to your body that this old rule just no longer applies.
You're updating the pattern.
Right. By showing your system that it's actually safe to hold this new temperature.
The transition from chasing to containing is what permanently moves the needle. But, understanding the theory of updated patterns intellectually is one thing.
We have to move it to the body.
Exactly. And the source material does something highly effective here. It invites the audience to physically feel their own invisible ceiling, their own thermostat kicking in right in the moment.
Because theory is useless until it becomes somatic. We have to map this concept onto the physical body.
So let's do that right now with you, the listener. Because talking about it is great, but feeling it is undeniable. Obviously, if you're driving, keep your eyes on the road. But if you are in a safe place, I want to walk you through this exact guided visualization from the script.
It's a powerful exercise.
Take a breath. Close your eyes. I want you to imagine, right this second, earning 3 times your current income.
Notice what happens.
Not as a 5-year goal. Right now. Imagine opening your banking app and seeing that number. You are suddenly managing, holding, and responsible for 3 times the revenue, 3 times the audience, 3 times the impact.
As you hold that image, pay very close attention to what happens physically. Scan your body. What are the exact sensations occurring right now?
Here's where it gets really interesting, because when I did this exercise myself, my first reaction wasn't celebration. The script mentions, a tightening in the stomach or a subtle urge to pull back.
What did you feel?
I felt my chest constrict, like my breathing got shallow. My brain immediately started racing with, wait, who's going to handle all those emails?
Yeah.
What are the tax implications? What if people expect too much of me now and I let them down?
The alarm bells.
It was a visceral, physical sensation of retreat. So why is this specific discomfort, this feeling of panic or tightening, described by the source as the actual doorway to success?
Because that physical discomfort, that exact tightening in your chest or your stomach, is the literal boundary of your current nervous system capacity.
Just the glass.
You just bumped up against the edge of your pint glass. That feeling is your vagus nerve signaling a potential threat. It is not a sign that you shouldn't grow, and it's not a sign that you are doing something wrong. Right.
It is simply the exact perimeter of your current safety imprint.
You just found the physical edge of the glass.
And the source's instruction here is critical for updating the pattern.
Yeah.
Do not push the discomfort away.
Don't ignore it.
Do not try to positive think your way out of it. And do not immediately distract yourself by checking your phone or, writing a frantic to-do list.
You have to sit in sovereignty with it. You have to stay with the physical sensation.
Yes. You must breathe into that specific discomfort and deliberately tell your physical system, we are safe here. You have to feel the chest tightness, acknowledge it, and let it pass without altering your goal.
Just weathering the storm.
You are essentially proving to your biology that this new level of expansion, this new temperature on the thermostat, is not going to kill you.
Wow.
The physical sensation must be neutralized before the bank account can sustainably grow. Because if you don't neutralize the physical panic, your body will inevitably deploy that intelligent sabotage to drag you back to your 70-degree baseline. It's incredible because it bridges the gap between esoteric mindset advice and hard neurobiology.
Yeah.
You are literally training your central nervous system to hold a new frequency of reality.
Exactly.
And so, this is where it gets real. We spent the last 15 minutes or so talking about nervous system capacity, but let's be honest. You can't hold an elite business container if your internal system is still treating, say, a client's temporary discomfort as a threat to your survival.
Oh, client boundaries. That's a huge trigger.
It really is. It's like trying to build a multi-million-pound skyscraper on a foundation made of sand.
Yeah.
If you felt that invisible ceiling of compromise today where you keep over-delivering just to keep the peace, you aren't alone. But you are entirely responsible for re-architecting your container.
Exactly. And that's the perfect transition into what Gina Pickersgill is doing.
Right.
Because she isn't just talking about project management strategy or, giving you generic boundary scripts. She's helping high-performing leaders rewire the actual neurobiological frequency of their wealth and their somatic capacity.
Which is exactly what we've been talking about.
It is. If you're ready to stop the energetic leaks and just end the post-boundary hangover of guilt for good, you should check the description right now.
Definitely.
First, there's her Heal Your Money Wounds workshop. This is exactly where you go to expand what your system feels safe to hold, receive, and contain without contracting.
Building a bigger glass.
Exactly. And second, for the coaches and mentors tuning in, you have to try her AI-driven Burden to Boundary Coach assessment. It's this precision tool designed to look at your operational language patterns and show you exactly where your private life force is being drained by your clients.
Which is so valuable.
But before you click those links, do the sovereign thing right here. If this perspective shifted something in your body today, hit the like button. It signals the algorithm that this is the frequency we're playing at. Subscribe and hit that bell notification. Because in 2026, operating with absolute internal alignment isn't just an option.
It's the only way to scale sustainably. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a lingering thought to just sort of explore on your own.
Okay, what is it?
We have focused heavily on money, income ceilings, and business strategy today. But if your nervous system is this perfectly designed machine, actively working to keep you at your current level, just to keep you safe, what else is it doing?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right. What other positive things in your life? Maybe a deeper, healthier romantic relationship or a massive creative leap you have been putting off for years. What is your body currently blocking?
Wow.
Where else in your life is your own biology secretly viewing joy, intimacy, and expansion as a threat?
That is a powerful question worth sitting with. Because once you understand how the mechanism works, once you see that the bottleneck isn't a broken strategy, but a perfectly functioning, albeit outdated, defense system, you realize you have the power to rewire the thermostat.
You can draw a brand new architectural plan. Now, go reclaim your space. We'll see you in the next one.
So when Gina offered me the opportunity to do this, I jumped for it because I think anything that you can do that is going to chip away at these limiting the beliefs of things that hold you back is really, really worth doing. So it's been a really lovely experience, and if anybody's a bit worried about it, just do it, because the opportunity to connect through havening is really, really powerful. It's really, really powerful.
But really helpful, I think, in terms of having that kind of guided process just to kind of let the ideas and the feelings and the images flow, and then try and work out what it actually means afterwards, and to come up with, and it made intuitive sense. It's really, really helpful to then kind of have that debrief of, okay, what can we actually do with this stuff? Because that's where we tend to get stuck, is kind of like coming out of it going, oh, this is all some really interesting ideas and thoughts and feelings and images. But yeah, then, you know, how can we actually harness them to do something different? And I think that's been really, really helpful in terms of clarifying really what I need to prioritize to go forward in a way that will deal with some of that stuff that came up.
I would like to point out that I'm actually a therapist myself, and sometimes therapists also need a therapist. So I was really stuck, and then one day a friend posted a link for Gina's wealth and money attracting short course, and I went, this sounds great, I'm just gonna book it. And I loved it so much. I really had an epiphany on that course, and it was only meant to be a demonstration, and yet it was really it just opened up something, possibilities that I was stuck before, and now like, ooh, I can use this to unstuck myself. I'm a great believer that when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and you appeared at the right time. That's all there is to it. So, you know, if anybody's watching this video, it means Gina has appeared in your life. So please give it a try.
She walks where the sky meets the sea, a calm in the chaos, wild and free. The light wraps around her soul. She's ready